This podcast is brought to you by Penji. Penji is a creative subscription service that gives you access to pre-vetted, agency-trained creatives from all over the world. From graphic design to illustrations to social media management and web development, it's all included for one monthly price. It's time to say goodbye to the hassle of searching for top-notch creative talent. With Penji, you get quality and consistency delivered right to your inbox every day. Carefully crafted for you by humans, so meet your new creative team today. Head over to penji.co for more and enter the coupon code located within the podcast show notes.
Okay, are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl for sure.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Beach vacation or mountain retreat?
That's tough. I grew up in San Diego, so mountain retreat's different.
Books or movies?
Movies, always.
Cats or dogs?
Cats.
If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be?
Marie Antoinette.
Go-to karaoke song?
Tainted Love.
Oh. And if you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Time travel. I think it'd be really cool to be able to travel forward or backwards in time, fix things, see what's happening in the future. Our future's very, unknown these days. So that'd be a cool superhero power to have, I think.
One food you could eat every day for the rest of your life?
Sambusa.
And what movie universe would you like to live in for a while?
Oh gosh, that's tough. I don't know. I'm such a film buff, but I like independent films, so
It's
that's
okay.
rough. Maybe the Batman universe.
That's interesting. That's like a little bit dark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I'm a big Batman fan, so I don't know. I think Gotham, obviously, it has its issues, but it's taken care of. Batman's always got Gotham's back, so I'm not worried being a Gotham citizen.
It's like a New York with a superhero, I feel.
Yeah.
That's nice. Well, guys, you heard that is Aliya. She is our guest today, and you guys know the drill. Welcome to Fully Managed. This is where we discuss marketing and business tips to help assist you in your business journeys. And I'm your host, Daniela, and I'm Penji's partnership coordinator. Aliya, I'm so excited to have you today. I'm so excited to have you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to our episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited too. First podcast, so let's see how I do.
First podcast, so we're going to try to make it good for you. Let's give a good impression of podcasting. Aliya, to get the ball rolling, get us started, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, who you are? Obviously, we learned some fun facts about you, but what do we need to know for all of those watching who are not familiar with you, with your career? Floor is yours.
Yeah, so I have about 15 years of career experience, and most of those years, it's been about 8 years of digital marketing experience, copywriting, content management, social media marketing, paid, basically everything digital marketing. And I'm also a traveler, so I spend about half of the year in Egypt, and from here, I like to go around and travel to different places. Egypt is huge, so there's a lot within the country to travel to. But I definitely prioritize that in my life and in my career. I think it's really important to travel and experience new things, different cultures. And I think it's definitely helped my career and understanding and really boosted my creativity over the years since I started traveling a few years ago and doing this kind of remote first lifestyle. So, yeah.
That's incredible. So you travel a lot. I'm curious to how that is able to be balanced with work. I've traveled a lot in my life, but I always have done it in a vacation setting. I usually never work while I'm traveling. I feel like it's so hard. Is it easy for you to balance that?
It is. I'm really grateful and lucky that I've been able to kind of maintain an asynchronous work schedule. So they don't necessarily need me on at, US hours while I'm abroad. But even so, Egypt, it's a big nightlife country. So I'm able to maintain working at night also. It's kind of comes alive at night. But I found that if you just stay organized and, stay up to date with your deadlines, meet your deadlines, and have a very good working VPN, I use ExpressVPN. That definitely helps me when I'm abroad, stay organized and get my work done efficiently.
Very interesting. Yeah, no, and you've also been sort of had a career already for quite a long time. So has it always been like that with the remote work and traveling, or do you think it sort of got bigger once COVID started? Because I feel like post-COVID, remote work has just been so much more popular.
Oh yeah, it was definitely since COVID. Up until then, I had been working exclusively on site. I started in the hospitality industry, working at a hotel. And for 7 years, I did that. It was just, guest services, sales, reservations, that kind of thing. And then I pivoted to digital marketing for the hotel specifically. And that was like peak COVID. So it was it was a big challenge working for hotel companies in San Diego during COVID, marketing, trying to market that. So I got my start on site and then I pivoted to remote work and I really love it. I miss, kind of the office culture in some ways. Some of it's not so great, but the majority of my coworkers I've had in office settings have always been really lovely. But I've been fortunate enough to work in companies where they really prioritize that remote camaraderie. It's a remote setting. And so we do like trivia and, weekly like Wednesday icebreakers, hot takes, things like that. And I get to lead that initiative at the current company I'm at, Camber Creative. So it's fun when companies prioritize that when you're working remote and asynchronous, trying to keep the team together.
Yeah, I've done like fully in-person work, and now my job is fully remote here at Penji. I do it fully remote. And I feel the differences. And like you said, I definitely think I like working remote because it's more comfortable for you as an individual for sure. But like you said, I think the social aspect of it is kind of gone because yeah, the interactions with your coworkers are a lot less. But yeah, like you said, it's important when your workplace is able to sort of still kind of foster that environment for you to get along with people. Um, and for me, I think the perfect like job for me probably would be like half half work, like half remote, like sometimes the office, like hybrid.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
sometimes it's nice to go to work and like talk to the people that you're working with, but yeah, most of the time it's more convenient to just be at your home.
Definitely. It gives you more of a work-life balance. It saves you on the commute, but I
Yeah.
definitely understand wanting a more hybrid, having that human contact is important for all of us. I've definitely learned that in my travels. It's the people that make it really special and learning about the cultures and different perspectives. So that also relates into working in an office as well, for sure.
Yeah, no, we are social creatures, so we do definitely need that interaction. Now, yeah, I wanted to ask you about your career with digital marketing. So I think it's so interesting that you pivoted to digital marketing in 2020 with hotel industries. Because how did that even work? I mean, were you promoting like, oh, this is your hotel for quarantine? I don't even know how you would sort of. I mean, you mentioned it was challenging, but I'm curious to hear more about the challenges that happened to like because now you're fully working with digital marketing. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming that you were successful enough to keep doing it up to this point. And I think I just like am curious to hear your perspective on it. I also have the opinion that digital marketing kind of changed post COVID. Like the pandemic started and a lot of it, the marketing strategies moved to being fully online. I mean, before they were already online, like in 2019 and everything, but I think that COVID really just kind of solidified that. and digital marketing became so much more relevant. So I'm just curious to hear from you and, in an industry that was obviously struggling during the pandemic,
Yeah.
how that experience was.
Yeah, so I started in digital marketing in 2017, so I didn't dive right in COVID, but still as a junior, digital marketer, that was a lot to take on, and I was managing 8 hotels plus the ancillary outlets like F&B, concerts, lounge, weddings, sales, all of it was kind of in my domain for social media marketing specifically, although I was doing digital marketing as a whole and working with other team members and coordinating campaign initiatives. Um, but yeah, COVID definitely changed digital marketing. It really kind of put an emphasis that you don't have to market in person. Gone are the days where we do brochures, and I guess that's still a thing, magazine, adverts and things like that. But who really buys magazines these days, I don't know. I feel like a lot of marketing is exclusively online, and social media has really spearheaded that effort. Reels and social commerce is coming up. AI is huge right now. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey. I'm really grateful that I kind of pivoted into hospitality digital marketing and got to market from a guest perspective, understanding, for 7 years where the guests are coming from, what they want to see, and being able to relay that into the marketing I was doing. There were, of course, several challenges with marketing during COVID specifically. Things would change one day to the next. One day we would get news that, all right, everything's open. You can, slowly kind of start opening things. So I would make posts, spend time on building graphics and copy and putting a strategy together. And then the next day it's all different. All of a sudden there's regulations and things. So things were different day to day. And it was very challenging maintaining the right, correct copy and campaign information for hotels. And it was a lot of pivoting, but I think learning that very early on in my career kind of helped me become this versatile marketer that I am today. And I can pivot very quickly and handle, multiple requests from hotels and people and things that are happening in the world. I think that challenge definitely helped me grow as a marketer and human.
I mean, that's amazing because I also think that marketing specifically is a job of so much just adapting, adaptation, and changes. If you look back at how marketing was 10 years ago to now, the changes are immense. And you can't even realize when they happened because a lot of times I feel like marketing just changes with technology. So a new technological thing kind of comes out and then you kind of have to adapt to how the world is sort of moving. ChatGPT came out. I had no idea ChatGPT came out in 2022 because it feels like we've had it around forever.
Okay.
I can't believe up until 2022 or 2023 we did not have ChatGPT because it's become such like a normal part of the work process. I mean, everybody uses ChatGPT to a degree, not even just in marketing, but in sort of like, their jobs. And it just so quickly got integrated into people's in school, in work, in just people's lives.
Yeah.
And we didn't even realize it, right? And like gone are the days when you have to redact everything with
Yeah.
ChatGPT, I think, and like all of these other AI bots like Gemini and all of these things. I mean, it's a huge change. So I think being able to adapt to stuff like that is probably one of the biggest things in successful marketing.
Definitely. Yeah. It's been interesting watching the rise of AI and being able to apply it to marketing. It definitely streamlines a lot of our processes, just kind of being able to pull information quickly. Sometimes I feel like I'm not using my brain power efficiently, instead of spending an hour researching things or topics, it's very easy to just plug in what you want to Chat GPT to get all of the resources to be able to write a blog or to be able to, come up with a campaign, but it's a useful resource for sure. Um, I try to balance how often I use it just because I don't want to lose my brain power. But yeah, it's been cool to see AI kind of helping people in their careers in general, not just marketing. It's definitely a powerful tool that I'm glad people are actually using. um, to an extent, of course.
I don't think it's perfect enough to just kind of rely on it entirely.
Yeah.
ChatGPT still kind of it'll write some wacky stuff from time to time.
Yes.
You still need the human brain to kind of like be like, maybe this is a little weird. Um, but I wanted to ask you more within, digital marketing. I know that at Camber you are kind of more focused on growth, right? Like you do the growth strategy for them. Um, what is the main responsibility that you have with that, or kind of like the biggest focus that you are doing for growth? I think a lot of companies and a lot of our listeners are interested in that, but it's hard to kind of pinpoint where the focus should be at.
Yeah. So growth kind of covers like the brand marketing as well as the lead generation and business development. So, what I'm focused on is maintaining the brand story that's on social media, the blogs, email marketing. So, I'm in charge of that aspect at Camper, as well as generating leads to come in and hire us to build applications and websites and things like that. Um, so, yeah, that's kind of it. Just, how to grow the company. I'm kind of leading that initiative right now. So it's been interesting. It's been cool, taking my experience in hospitality, working for other digital marketing companies, copywriting, things like that, and kind of coming into this growth strategist position and being able to apply all of that to helping Camber grow and achieve the things that they need to meet their KPIs. And yeah.
So a lot of our listeners are kind of new to marketing. We have a lot of people who are business owners who are not necessarily very well versed with marketing, but they have to be because they're business owners. Um, to that, I think a lot of the questions are regarding precisely that, which is having a cohesive brand, storytelling, keeping that cohesiveness within all of the promotional material that you make, et cetera, et cetera. With your experience, what do you think is your advice for someone who is kind of getting started with that? They're dipping their toes, they're not sure how exactly to do this, and probably don't have a lot of knowledge or experience as well.
I would say understand who you are, what your brand is, and once you know and you know what your goals are, it's pretty simple to build a strategy. Um, just a lot of companies I find they don't understand who they are and who they're marketing to exactly, so they kind of just fly with the wind and don't put a whole lot of thought into their marketing strategy or campaigns. So taking the time to really understand your brand, your tone of voice, your goals, what your growth strategy is, where you're looking to be in the next 5 to 10 years, and the product, whatever you're selling, is important, and understanding the market for that product realistically, and tailoring your marketing strategy around that. I really think is the best route to go. And remembering to stay on top of the ever changing digital landscape because things are changing all the time with the growth of technology and AI. It's really important to sign up for those, emails, like the newsletters that are going to keep you up to date on marketing, attending webinars if you can, conferences that are just going to keep you up to date on all of the trends is a really good, initial beginning to tailoring a good marketing plan.
Do you recommend for everybody to get on social media nowadays, or do you think that there's still a possibility for some industries or some companies to not have a social media presence?
Oh, social media is king, queen. That's just how it is. And I know as much as some companies may want to avoid that, it's really hard. People's attention spans these days are very small. So creating that short form video content will drive success. And where are you going to post that? Who's going to see that? It's going to be social media. So I really think it's important for brands to get on social media and prioritize social media marketing, but make sure it ties into your website initiatives, your email marketing, whatever other campaign initiatives you're working on. It all needs to be very cohesive. But I would definitely not stay off of social media in 2025. It's very important TikTok if you have the capacity to, build a TikTok presence. I've seen a lot of brands kind of start and then kind of chill off of the TikTok. You have to be full in with things like social media marketing. You have to commit to posting very regularly to be able to make a dent in the algorithm, in people's feeds, because there's so much that's coming out constantly. So if you're going to do social media marketing, which I do recommend, you have to commit to it and be, just fully committed to putting your best foot forward and doing it right.
You also have to be really kind of in line with trends, I think, especially for TikTok, because it moves really quickly. If you're not doing things that are going with how people are feeling, it's hard to get popular. I have seen a lot of brands go on social media. I think what is interesting to me is that brands on TikTok are very different than what I see them like the kind of attitude that I see of brands on TikTok is so different than what I see on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or X now. I mean, it's the TikTok presence is very whimsical and kind of youth oriented, right? Like they always have like those young people working at this company and they're always having fun and making TikToks and joking around and and they're doing trends and stuff like that. And move over to a brand's Instagram page and they might still have some of that whimsical stuff, but it's mostly just promotional things. It's a lot more serious, even though Instagram also has reels. So I think it's a really sort of interesting thing that people I'm assuming that you have to be aware of how kind of like brands are showing up in every different platform.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to think about the users that are on these different platforms. On LinkedIn and Facebook, you're looking at a little older, so you have to tailor your content to that specific user group. Instagram, maybe millennials are kind of using it more. I love Instagram. I'm turning 32 in a few weeks, and I'm still on Instagram more than I am any other platform. And TikTok, of course, is like a younger generation, Gen Z. My little sister, who's 16, is all on TikTok. So you have to tailor your message across these different platforms and make sure that you're speaking to the right audience, for sure. Because, yeah, it's all very different across the platforms. Absolutely.
Interesting because it is very different, even though I feel like with the growth of social media, we always see a platform kind of stealing stuff from the other that becomes successful. Like
Mm.
Instagram stole the stories from Snapchat. And then all the other platforms have been trying to steal this short form video thing from TikTok. But even with kind of that copying aspect that you see, there's still a different presence online. So I think something that's important is just kind of know your audience, right? If your audience is Gen Z, maybe you will want to be very much on TikTok.
Yes. No, for sure. That's the thing. You have to think about your product, what you're selling, and where it's going to be the most successful when you're marketing on social media. Absolutely. That's not to say that, a product that's maybe tailored towards an older generation should just not be on TikTok, but you're going to have to market a certain way, and kind of, have fun with it. Just be a little more loose about what you're doing and maintain a presence. That's the most important thing, I think, is maintaining your presence across platforms as best as you can.
Yeah, for sure. I think just kind of being there is important. Um, I think what's really interesting and something that I wanted to ask you about is um I feel like newer generations are a little bit more privy to marketing tactics, marketing methods. I've noticed that a lot of really young people know what SEO is. A lot of them know stuff like what lead generation is. I didn't learn these type of terms until I started working in marketing. Or like evergreen content. I see people who are super young using these terms to give each other advice to become influencers, right? I also see people talking about marketing strategies online a lot. And they're talking about like products that, like this person has an affiliate code. So like they're actually promoting this secretly. Or like, there that discussion is happening online all the time with the younger generations. And what to me is insane is that we are getting with this new generation a much more demanding audience in terms of transparency, in terms of, being honest with what you're promoting, with being real about what your product is like, with all of this stuff. And I think that's kind of changing the marketing game because it's demanding for brands to be more transparent, even though I think a lot of times people or brands don't want that transparency necessarily. What's your take on all of that? Because I feel like before, I think millennials were kind of like that, but I think Gen Z has really solidified it. And Gen X and boomers were totally not like, I mean, they were so, they probably didn't think about it that much. I mean, I think of my mom and she's kind of like, yeah, that's a marketing tactic, maybe if I tell her, but she's not
Yeah.
thinking about it. She's just like, look at this. I saw it on Temu.
Yeah. No, it's definitely interesting to see that younger generation kind of more tuned in. And, I feel like before as marketers, we kind of flew under the radar. People didn't really know about targeted ads or things like this. And it was easier to market, but I think that really has come with the growth of social media, of that short form content. People are taking the time to put that information out there and people are taking the time to learn it. So it's weird, but yeah, I mean, I didn't know much about marketing before I got my start. I knew some things, but I'm a millennial, we weren't taking the time to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just really think it's with the growth of social media and TikTok and that short form video content that's really pushed that narrative out there. And yeah, we'll see. I'm really curious to see where marketing is in, 5 to 10 years. And the challenges we'll be facing as marketers. We can't really fly under the radar anymore. And people are demanding that transparency, which I think is interesting because it kind of gives brands the opportunity to push more unpolished, by the seat of their pants content out that's a little more raw. It's not perfectly tailored. It's not perfectly written. It's kind of a little more human. And I like that. I'm kind of into that. I think it's more honest and it gives the brands more of a heart, not just this brand logo and a story. There's more heart behind the brand. So I'm into it. I'm curious to see where it goes in the next few years.
I think some brands that come to mind that have kind of been pioneering this change is, for example, I think I've seen Ryanair on TikTok a lot. Or I haven't seen them actually in a while, but I remember seeing them show up on my TikTok feed a lot. Um, and their TikToks were just shamelessly promoting bad airlines. Like to me, what was insane is that it's like, yeah, we suck. It's a $50 flight. What do you expect? It's like this is the brand they're promoting. Like they were like, yeah, it's cheap flights. Like shut up and just take it. Or they were saying like, I was charging you $20 for a flight, but $700 for a bag, and then it's like a mischievous laugh in the back, and then it's like,
Yeah.
it was like this kind of shameless promotion of like, we are a bad airline. You know what you're getting, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's the brand image that they want, which
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, and it really just kind of showed me how much that has changed because I feel like you go back to a few years and that would have never flown. Like I think you would have said that I would have pitched that to a brand in like 2012 and they would have been like, you're insane. Leave this
Yeah.
room right now. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting how brands really have kind of taken that polish off, but it's cool. It's cool to see them kind of lean into that because we all know deep down Ryanair, so the fact that they're being honest about it, brands like that, it it's refreshing, it's human. So and it's funny. It's funny. They're making fun of themselves. Like who can't enjoy that? And I'm sure their followers are, on board for it because it's like, yeah, they know what it is and they're not trying to hide or be this polished version of an airline. They're just being themselves and leaning into it. I think that's great.
You're also honest, I think, because at least you know what to expect. We all know that Ryanair is not a good airline, but if there is by any chance a person who's trying to learn about it, and I would rather them tell me what I'm paying for because then I'm gonna show up and not expect like, a Qatar Airlines flight. But I'm just
Yeah.
gonna be like, yeah, just get me to where I'm trying to go. So I think it's great. I also think that just influencers, the rise of influencers has really kind of made marketing more accessible to just your regular Joes, because a lot of influencers, I think people don't know or don't like to think about this, but I think a lot of influencers are marketers, even if they've kind of never had a job with it. They're successful because they've been able to market themselves, right? They are their own brand, and I think they kind of just maybe learned it in a less sort of polished way than a person who is in the field. But I think a lot of successful influencers that you see are successful because they've been able to sort of figure out the marketing behind all of this and kind of make content that's going to appeal to a certain audience that they're trying to get to.
Absolutely. It's been so interesting to see the rise of influencers the last few years, and also the focus on macro influencers, not going for those huge millions of followers, going for kind of more the niche influencers that'll help people or help brands specifically for what they're looking for, and speak to a smaller audience. It's been an interesting, and they definitely have kind of done their own work on the side. I can, give it to them. They didn't, go to school or anything like that for marketing. Not that I did either. It can be a self-taught, you know,
Yeah.
um, industry. It's not hard, especially with all of the, I mean, it has its challenges, let me say that, but it's not difficult to want it bad enough to learn, whether you're a marketer, whether you're an influencer. There's so much content out there to take and to digest and understand. And if you're staying on top of the trends and you know who you are, you know who your brand is, who you're marketing for, whether it's yourself or a brand, you can be successful. You just have to really go for it and commit yourself to it. So I give it to them. They really are doing it themselves, that they're taking their own talents, whether it's talent in front of a camera, being charismatic and really able to relay that into different brands that they work with. So it's impressive.
Yeah, I think it's impressive. I think it's also really changing marketing. Obviously not to every industry. It's very influential towards the younger generations, but I do think that in like a snowball effect, it is affecting a lot of digital marketing strategies. um, so I think that this is a great note to end this on, Aliya. But before we end it, I do want to give you the space to promote anything that you want to promote. If you want to ask for people to, if you're looking for assistance, if your company's looking for work, anything, right now is the moment for you to plug, promote yourself, anything, go on.
How? I'm so humble. I can't. I don't have anything to really plug. I will say Camber Creative is an excellent app agency. We're in the middle of a brand shift right now, so we've got a new website coming out. We're gonna have all kinds of content kind of tailored to that. If you're looking for an amazing app to be built, whether you're, a startup, bootstrapping entrepreneur, however, whatever category you fall into, Camber makes amazing apps. They've done a lot of successful business with companies like Stripe, Advent Health, companies like that across the board, To Eat List, things like this. So it's a great app company. And I would say, other than that, if you're a marketer and you're just getting your start, if you're a brand, you don't know where to begin, trust the process, believe in yourself, learn who you are, who you're marketing to, your brand, and don't give up. Marketing can kind of seem scary, but it's really not. And you can, learn it. It's not that difficult to kind of take the reins and teach yourself everything you need to know.
Awesome. Yes. And I will be adding the links to your company and your LinkedIn to the description so that if anything that resonated with anyone listening today can just go and find you. And thank you so much, Aliya, for being a part of the podcast today. It was so fun to have you.
Thanks, Danielle. It was awesome to chat here. And I hope that your watchers and listeners enjoyed. And we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. Guys, you can go subscribe, follow, stream the podcast. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You've been listening to Fully Managed, brought to you by Penji. Check out the show notes to learn more about today's guest, and to learn more about Penji, the human-first creative subscription service, head over to penji.co. And by the way, if you're still listening, it would mean the absolute world to us if you were to share this podcast with a friend and, of course, subscribe.